Hey, how's going? This is Shane from Upgear Garage. Thought I'd do a little video of me d15b7 non-VTEC. It's now obviously got a little HKS 2510 on it. Intercooler is out of Navarra, I think it is. One of my mates, Luke Mobs, donated that to the build. One of my other good mates, Cade, made the dump pipe. It is actually a stock, I think S13, S14, S15, whatever you want to call it, dump. And then he's just made the rest of it up out of bits that I've had laying around. Hang on, I'll get some light in there. Where's my torch? There it is. Sorry, I'll just flip this out. These are the sickest torches. A fairly big light on it, nice and bright. Some Nidos, not Nidos, Nankangs. Nidos, I wish. Yeah, so this is the dump pipe Cade made for me. That is a bit of 3-inch. I didn't have any pipe left, and Cade was stressing, so I just told him to make it work, and he made it work. It works bloody great. Gearbox has got a bit of an oil leak at the moment. I've got to try and sort that out. Air filter's getting a little bit smashed down there, poor thing. I think I'm due for a new one. So yeah, it's good. Magna fuel pressure reg. It's a fairly old one, but it still seems to work pretty good. Gauge doesn't. I have got fuel pressure into the ECU. It's actually got it's got a Haltech on it, Elite 1000. I've got a LS1, I think, oil pressure sensor used as a coolant pressure sensor. I've had a few issues with lifting the head on this thing. See, from air temp sensor and oil pressure sensor is mounted down there. It's off a little braided line, so the sensor's not right on the block. Yeah. Little machined up cap for my Dizzy where it's not existed anymore. A little bit of a rocker cover leaker. They really need a new rocker cover. The gasket, it's been on and off a couple of times now, resetting valve clearances and things like that with the cam it has in it. It's about 290 advertised duration on the exhaust and 285 on the intake. 10.1 mil lift on the exhaust and 9.7 on the intake. Yeah. So done everything inside. The head has 1 mil oversized valves, intake and exhaust. It's fully ported. I'll see if I can work out how to put some photos up. I'm not very good at this whole YouTubing thing yet. Figure out how to put some photos in of the head as well. Car isn't the cleanest. She's got a few scratches here and there. Roof's pretty faded. On 14 still. It is a very fun little car. Surprises a few people. Pretty much completely standard suspension, everything at the moment. I've only pretty much just done the engine, as you can see, and painted it. This bonnet is painted the same colour. Hopefully the whole car will be painted that colour one day. Can't rush these things. So yeah, I do have a few tools laying around to do a bit of porting. This is actually a diesel head off a Isuzu. Guy's planning on trying to make a fair bit of power, so he wanted a port job done. Just got to cut some seats now and give it a deck, and he's got some aftermarket valve springs. Diesel performance. They're pretty strong. What is it? Yeah, 97 to 101 pound on the seat. That's heaps. Thing only revving to 4,000 RPM, so she's never going to float with those on. And yeah, don't ask me what that's here for. I bought that. Some stupid idea, D17. I was hoping that the triggering system would work because these run a cam trigger and a crank trigger, but being Honda, they've redesigned the way that the cam gear goes under the camshaft. The camshaft is a little bit different size there too, so you can't use that, which has got the trigger bits off the end of the cam here. The mounting points, they don't have that. This crank pulley, the crank is actually a different size than the D15s. Now the D16s I'm pretty sure run the same size crank as the D15s, but the D17s they went and changed them around. Cam belt's still the same. So yeah, that engine was a bit of a waste of time, but oh well, these things happen. This is a pretty cool machine. You pretty much have got, it's a little bit of a mess at the moment because I've been porting on it, but look at these different little cutters. They've got all the valve angles built into them. I don't know if it's going to show up on the camera. You can sort of see them there. And then basically set that to the size of your valve. With this tool here, actually I've got, that's and the guides go into here. This has got a big magnetic base on it, just clicks on, you drop it onto this obviously once this is clean, and this locks down and clamps onto the head. And then pilot slides in the guide, nice and snug, put a bit of oil on there, and then it's got a drive in here, and this thing is air operated. It's got a drive in there, a little button on the end. It does about 50 RPM I think. It's got a heap of torque, and you lower it by winding this thread here down. Once this all locks in, it locks in nice and tight onto the bed here. I don't have any heads laying around that I've cut some seats on the show, but I'll put another video up. He's got a TDO 5 18G that's going on this, so we've got to make a manifold for him as well. And this is his intake manifold as well. We ported out. There is no point really doing porting on a head if you're not going to do the intake and make sure it's all match ported as well. Also, this bottom end is fully built. It's got max speeding rods that they were $127. They weren't the greatest of things. They weren't finished very nice. So I advise you boys, if you do buy the max speeding rods, that you get them checked out by a machine shop. The cap mating surfaces had burrs that when they pressed them together, they weren't cleaned properly, and they weren't very pretty, I can tell you that. So yeah, make sure you get them checked out. 11.5 to 1 I think, CP D16 pistons. The rods are the shorter rods. I think they're 136 mil long from memory. So the pistons do sit down the bore 28 thou, which only gives me 10.1 to 1. It's got a 60 thou Cometic head gasket on it. That's all I could really get here in Australia, easy. Apparently the J Pro seals are a lot better, but trying to find one in Australia is a little bit interesting. If you guys know where to find them, let me know, but it has been holding up so far now. I did have issues, obviously, that's why I put that pressure sensor in. It's got the standard size ARP head studs as well, so that'll be the next thing to upgrade, I think, if once we put this big turbo on. I do have a China 3582, I think it is. It's got a standard XR6 front housing on that my mate Lex donated to the cause. He bought the whole turbo for the front housing and had a big 4-inch, and he wanted it on his turbo, his standard XR6 turbo, so I swapped in the housings and he gave me the turbo. Can't complain, and bought me a wastegate as well. Champion fella. It is only it's a rip-off one, but it does work. We've tested it. Apply air to it and she holds open and stays open. It did have a 20-pound spring in it, so we've dropped it down to a 10-pound spring. I did want a bit less than that. This is actually only a 5-pound waist actuator, and with the Haltech I'm running boost by gear as well, so I've only got 5 pound in first gear and then 13 pound in the rest of it. It still sort of needs to be dropped down in second gear, because second gear is a little too much. Even with these tyres on it, standard suspension, she ends up looking pretty much like this when it's launching, and doesn't really seem to put power down very well. It is on the jack, if you notice that. But yeah, cool little rig. I love it. It's funny, I do have a 180SX, and I'll show you where that is right now. Oh, the door's locked from the outside. Don't you hate that? That's my daily. Only car that works because it's stopped. And this is the poor 180. This is what happens when you're trying to learn to tune. These things happen, but so yeah, it's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. It has been my drift car for 10 years now, and she needed a break. It'll come back one day. I'm just a little bit stuck on this Honda. I do really like this thing as well. It's very nice to drive. So yeah, thanks for watching, if you're still here, and see you soon.